One day, many years ago, I was on a road trip with a spiritual teacher. We were driving on a little 2-lane blacktop road that didn't even have paved shoulders. There was just the amount of pavement for the 2 lanes. Very remote. Little roadway in a very remote area of northern New Mexico. We were traveling from one area and we were heading west on this east-west road. We had been driving for quite a long time, and in this area of the country, there's a lot of open space between towns and civilization. You can be driving for hours and not see any buildings whatsoever, just land, open land. And up ahead, we could see there was a little gas station, old style gas station that you see in little tiny small areas like this. And we pull off of the blacktop into the dirt, heading toward the gas pumps. And there were 2 of them, 2 gas pumps. And these were the old style gas pumps that you had to go into the little building, the little gas station building, and pay the gas station attendant, say $20, and say you wanted $20 worth of gas. And then he would activate the pump. And then you would walk back over to the pumps, and then you would turn a lever and put the pump into to pump your gas. There was no place to put a credit card or anything like that. And we pulled up to the furthest pump of the 2, leaving room in case somebody else needed to come in behind us, which eventually did happen. We heard a car approaching, and the car pulled off, and a young woman, probably in her mid-20s, got out of the car, and we acknowledged each other, and she went inside and paid for her gas and came out and turned the lever and started pumping her gas. And as she's looking at us, she puts up her hand, that hand gesture you do when you're saying to someone, "1 second, I'll be right back." She didn't say the words, but just the hand gesture was enough to indicate to us that she was going to be right back. So she walks around the car, opens up the driver's side door, leans in, and reaches down to the passenger area floorboard and comes up, and you can tell she's got a stack of computer printouts. She gathers them together and shuts the driver's side door, and she's coming around back toward us, holding her stack of papers. Probably anywhere from 7 to 12 pieces of printed out computer paper. And as she approaches, you can see these pieces of paper have been folded and unfolded and dog-eared and, highlighted and underlines and comments. And, these have been worked, these papers. And you could see that they were MapQuest printouts. Back in those days, that's what a lot of us did to navigate on road trips, is you would put in your destination in your computer, and this MapQuest service would give you directions that you would print out, and you would have those with you in your car to help you navigate from place to place. Well, she obviously had her stack of papers that had been her lifeline on her road trip. Who knows how many days she had been traveling and where she had started, but you can tell she had been at this a long time, because this was quite a stack of MapQuest printouts. And as she's holding these and clutching onto them, this lifeline on her road trip, she looks at both of us and she says, "Do either of you know how to get to Alamosa, Colorado?" And I started giggling. And I said to her, "Yes, I know how to get there. I was born there. You stay on this road that you've been on, Keep going the same direction you've been going, to the west. This road will eventually end, and you'll have to either turn left or right. If you turn right, that will take you further into New Mexico. And if you turn left, it will take you right into Alamosa, Colorado. She looks at me with a look on her face that indicates there's no way it could be that simple. You could see the look on her face. Her mind was very convinced that it had to be more complicated than that. So as she's clutching her directions, she looks at him, the spiritual teacher I was with, and she says to him, "Do you know how to get to Alamosa?" And he laughs and he says, "Did you not just hear what he said? He was born there. It's as he said. You go up and the road ends, and if you turn right, it will take you further into New Mexico, and if you turn left, it will take you right to Alamosa, Colorado." And she's now giving him the look of that there's no way that it could be that simple, as she's clutching onto her papers, and she's now, shuffling the papers to try to find the exact page to, counter what we've just said, and there's no way it could be that. And as she's working the papers, he points to the papers with his hand, and it draws her attention to the fact that he's pointing at the papers. So she sees him pointing at her papers, and so she looks up at him, and he says to her, "Whatever all that is, you don't need it." And it just popped it for her. In that moment, you could see somehow that it finally made sense. And it was just such a look of relief on her face and such ease. And she crumpled up the pieces of paper and threw them in the trash can that was right there beside the gas pump. Smiled at us, finished pumping her gas, got in her car, and continued on her journey to Alamosa, Colorado. Oh my goodness. Ever since that moment, that has stayed with me. That phrase that he said to her as he pointed to her stack of directions. Whatever all that is, you don't need it. Oh my goodness, that is so pure. There have been so many moments that has supported me in my journey whenever I would notice my mind clutching on to complicated directions, complicated worries, complicated concerns. Our mind sees this whole life experience as a problem to be solved. That's why I refer to it as problem solver mind. Now, we don't want to now suddenly make the mind wrong or bad for that. That's its function. It's very good at solving problems. That's why I call it problem solver mind. So we don't want to turn the mind into the villain here. It's just trying to help out. In that moment, her mind was just trying to help her find her way to Alamosa. And when I giggled and replied, "Oh yeah, I was born there. You just go up and turn left," her mind was so convinced that it couldn't be that simple. Clutching onto the complicated directions, it just can't be that simple. What do you mean you just go up and turn left? I've got a stack of papers that indicate to me that it's got to be way more complicated than that. And then even when he said it to her, he said, "Did you not hear him? He was born there. You just go up and turn left." Still, her mind was convinced it had to be more complicated than that. And then when he pointed at the papers and said to her, "Whatever all that is, you don't need it," Oh, what a wonderful invitation that each of us can bring with us to any moment where we're navigating life and we feel our mind squeezing and fretting and worrying and in such a dilemma over anything. We can stop and just consider. Maybe all that mental activity, maybe we don't need it. Whatever all that is, you don't need it. And there might be moments that this will allow us to be liberated from the suffering that we create for ourselves in such moments. Now, we're not in any way saying that the mind is not useful to us. It's very helpful to us to solve things, to figure things out. It's very good at that. But there just might be moments when you notice that you're pulled into a whole stack of MapQuest directions that you don't really need, that it really can be that simple. And when it is, we can let it be and crumple up all those papers and throw them in the trash. There may end up being many moments where that will come to you and you can say that to yourself, to your mind. Think it, and you can say to it, whatever all that is, you don't need it. Rest back and enjoy the ride.